We'd like to welcome everybody today to the Cornell University Medical Center at New York Presbyterian Hospital. I'm Bruce Lerman. I'm the Chief of Cardiology and also Director of the Electrophysiology Laboratory. Let me just start with the beginning. This was the second hospital in the country. This was incorporated in 1771 during the reign of King George III. So it has a long and illustrious history. And cardiology, it also has made major contributions to the field. It's where the first CCU was developed. It's also where the renin-angiotensin system was first identified in terms of its centrality to cardiovascular regulation. And the development of the first ACE inhibitor, captopril, was also developed here. One of the things that when you come to Cornell, you can't help but notice the majesty of the facade of the hospital. It dates from 1930 specifically, and it's a magnificent, beautiful hospital. And the reason why it is because it always represented what probably goes on within inside the walls of the institution.
So I started at Cornell right after I finished my fellowship training, and I never left. I love working at Cornell New York Presbyterian Hospital. It is a place that has the perfect balance of outstanding clinical care, exceptional case mix and clinical volume, and a wonderful group of people to work with. Cornell has some of the most amazing people and colleagues to work with. It is full of people who are publishing, doing cutting-edge clinical and academic work, and yet we all tend to get along, collaborate clinically, collaborate academically. It is a very special place to be and work.
One of the things that you all might be wondering about is, what do we look for in a candidate? What makes a candidate different from anybody else? And we do look for character in an individual. That's critically important for what we do. We also look for leadership qualities, and we also look for intellectual curiosity. We think that those are three very important components that make for an ideal candidate and make for an ideal cardiologist going forward.
So I think one of the strengths we have in the fellowship here at Cornell is that we provide our fellows with an enormous amount of independence. At the same time, we wrap them in an incredibly supportive environment of mentoring. So our faculty are always available to speak with any fellow at any time, and it provides both an opportunity to gain the clinical exposure that probably is among the absolute best opportunities in the country.
The complexity that fellows will see in this hospital, I think, is really a boon, because when you come out of Cornell having trained in this environment with our inpatient base, you are well known to have had some of the most impressive and complex and in-depth training in diseases that you can get in the US or in the world, really.
One of the most exciting parts about my job is being able to interact with incredibly intelligent and dedicated fellows on a daily basis, reviewing cases with them, reviewing imaging with them, and being a part of their education.
So, top-notch clinical care, innovative research, and dedication to teaching, these are the key ingredients of a superior training program. And to me, Cornell Cardiology embodies all of these.
To be honest, at Cornell, we feel we're the ones that are lucky to have our fellows work alongside us. Our commitment to them is unwavering. We dedicate our time and our days, our livelihood to our fellows. But we are the lucky ones to work alongside very talented and exceptional fellows.
Because our faculty is so small, we are that much more invested in our fellows. It really matters to us that our fellows are well educated, have a great clinical experience, and are involved in clinical decision making and in the care of our patients.
We're increasingly moving into new fields, whether it be echo-based strain imaging, radionucleotide techniques to look at myocardial tissue properties using new radionucleotide tracers. And we've done so in a way that really integrates the fellows, both the general cardiology fellows as well as the advanced imaging fellows, in much of what we do.
A big part of my interest in being here is in mentoring, subsequent generations of cardiologists, and in training them clinically, supervising and training them in research, but also working with them to understand how to think about approaching their careers and really mentoring them in a more holistic way so that when they're ready to leave here, they're able to go about it with a good idea of how to approach their careers.
The mentoring here is phenomenal, I think, partly because we do have a very collegial atmosphere, and that does make a big difference. You feel like you can always reach out to your mentors. They're never hesitant to give you, feedback when needed and help you get to your next step.
I think Cornell is special because of how we all work together. And this is within our own division, but also with all the other departments in the hospital. It's a very collegial environment where we really take care of patients in a way that is multidisciplinary and work together as one big, large team. I think the patients really feel it, and as a doctor, you get to feel it too, that you're working within a team with your colleagues together to just make patients' lives better.
It's not just faculty, it's a family. And I think that's kind of one of the highlights of our program, and that's what makes it so special. Support is unparalleled. Doors are always opened. I've called our faculty members innumerable times throughout the night when I needed help, and it was just welcomed with open arms. As long as we were doing the right thing and we were taking care of our patients, the support was just unparalleled.
I trained here as a fellow and I stayed here as an attending. This is a very dynamic program, but it's also a very small, sort of a family. It feels like a family. We're all friends and family, including fellows. We treat our fellows like colleagues and family members. We become lifelong friends. I probably would never leave this place unless, if I had a choice. And this feels like a second home to me.
There's something to learn from everybody here, and I think that the fellows here have a unique opportunity in that nobody is going to judge you if you change your mind. Even if you change your mind as a third-year fellow, we're going to do our best as faculty to try and support you and help you have the most successful career that you can have. I think that's all of our goals, and I don't think anybody approaches this job any differently.
It's a program where there's real diversity in the clinical experience, and where you really get to know the faculty members very well.
I absolutely love my co-fellows. They were my family during all fellowship. We have a great working relationship and a great relationship as just friends.
So one thing that really impressed me when I was interviewing with Cornell was that the fellows all seemed very cohesive. I was really impressed by the camaraderie that I really saw here during my interview day. Sadly, that's not really going to be able to present itself as well this year with the virtual interviews, but I really did get the sense that all the fellows really got along with each other, supported each other, and really helped step in to cover for each other when they needed to deal with their own issues or if there were other clinical interests that they wanted to pursue.
I know that everyone says this about their own program, but I really and truly believe it's the people. I think that Cornell Cardiology is unique in that, we're a powerhouse division, but we're a smaller size division, and as a result of that, you really get to know people very well.
It is the strength of this program is that there are multiple individuals here who are heavily invested in our careers and are actively working to help us succeed. And so I was very grateful to have that support at Weill Cornell as a cardiology fellow.
Well, New York is the cultural center of the universe. As a guy from Louisiana, I always wanted to live in New York because I was interested in classical music for a long time. So there's something that always drew me here.
I would say New York is an outstanding place to start a family. The biggest attractions for me, it's a truly international city. My children have access to, friends who are, from all over the country, all over the world, and it's sort of global upbringing that I would want them to have.
And we're so lucky that we can live in great accommodations near the hospital, have short commutes, and also with a good school system nearby.
Manhattan it's not like any other. The uniqueness to Manhattan is special in that it could be 3 o'clock in the morning or 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and you can pretty much be involved in the same activity. And that's a very special place to live in.
There's nothing like having in a 10-block perimeter of your house, having everything you could possibly need, and including grocery stores and a myriad restaurants, and everything's in walking distance. And so you can really get around very easily.
Oh, New York is fantastic. Great food, great entertainment. You don't have to drive. You never have to worry about parking. You know, it's you being able to use the subway is great. You're close to Central Park. I think that's a great place to be able to take your family out. Go take a stroll around. It's beautiful out there. So I think it's a good place to raise a family.
Yeah, so I think if you're in your 20s or early 30s, or I guess even if you're in your 40s like me, New York's a fun and great place to live with the diversity and the nonstop excitement. At the same time, you can still get away from things, drive an hour away and hit the mountains or go to the beaches. So it's a really great opportunity.
We hope that you have a enjoyable day. We hope that all your questions are answered, and we look forward to meeting each and every one of you.